I'll start us off. First of all, Joe, talk us through how preparation has been, being up here in Townsville, new setting, new environment. How's the squad feeling going into this weekend?
Yeah, I guess it started with getting along to the club final there, teachers and brothers, and a really good vibe in the rugby folk in town, and we really enjoyed that. Then we got to work, and work's been hot. It's pretty mild up here, and so the one real positive is the whole week's been like that. So we've been able to acclimatise a little bit, and with a mid-afternoon kickoff, it's going to be in the heat of the day, and that's going to present its own challenges. But with that acclimatisation, we're hopeful we'll be able to run the full distance.
Obviously, it's been full crowd as expected. A lot of people there. From what I've heard, a decent amount of Argentinian contingent will be there as well. What are some of the key things you're identifying, looking at this Pumas side, and things that you want to tackle, particularly after Santa Fe, making sure that you do right this time?
Yeah, I guess even Santa Fe, after 30 odd minutes, we led 20 points to 3 before falling off a cliff. I think I described it as at the time, but there were a number of things I think we righted along the way. It's not a sudden solution that we need to find, and I'm pretty sure that the players are conscious of what they need to deliver now. It's hard to connect something from a year ago with what we're currently doing, but certainly there've been a few connections, and part of that connection is the quality of the Puma side. We saw that 2 weeks ago against the All Blacks, but that's been a pretty consistent theme over recent years, and so I think they've got one of the stronger back rows in world rugby, and Montoya plays like another back rower, so you've kind of got 4 back rowers coming at you, very talented midfielders. They play at Toulouse and at Saracens, so that they play at a very high level all the time, and a back 3 that threatens as well. No doubt, they're missing Albanese, but then they've got Santiago Carreras to step straight in there. So their strength and depth is building, and their consistency of performance. Even in the first test, I felt against the All Blacks, they were not far away in that test match. So we're expecting it to be super tough, and that's the nature of TRC this year. And everyone's got a win and everyone's got a loss, and we're trying to build another win if we can.
Obviously, Tom is back. He's starting number 10. You've got James on the bench. I was just wondering, to take us through that decision, what have you seen in Tom? Was he taken out illegally, 3rd test, but his recovery and how he's been training?
Yeah, he's only really slotted back in with us this week, but I caught up with Tom during the week. We went through a few of the things that we're trying to build into our game, and he's pretty studious, so he knows how we're trying to play, and just that experience of his first 3 test match starts were against the Lions. That's a nice easy way to ease your way in, and it got very physical, and obviously some of that was untoward, and he's bounced back from that really well. We've got him double checked, and we want to be as prudent with him as possible. He's very keen to play, and will kick us off really.
What was it that you saw? I mean, Tom Hooper's been fantastic since he's come into the team. What was it that gave you confidence that Tom can also do a really good job fitting into the very big shoes of Will Skelton? Yeah,
canoes I'd call them. They're massive. He has to get them made specially, but Tom, he's been great for us. He's got a massive engine. He keeps going really well. He and Nick Frost have got a very good combination, and sometimes you want a ready-made combination from club that makes it easy for those 2 guys to slot in together. So with the volume of work that Tom Hooper can give us, and the line-out ability that Nick Frost gives us, we just felt it was a pretty good balance.
just the final one from me, Joe. Angus Bell has had a really great impact off the bench. Just wondering if you, what are you seeing in terms of when he comes on, and also that decision, he can turn games off the bench, just what you're seeing with Angus in that role?
Yeah, that's it exactly. I think, that is normally a 40-40 balance or 45-35 balance, so it's not a significant difference in game time, and we have no doubt about the quality of what Angus can bring us to start. But when he finishes games with the power he generates and his ball playing, obviously the one that probably sticks in all our minds is the nice short pass to Harry Wilson on a down line, and so his feel for the game, not just as a ball carrier but a distributor, I think he's building his game out, and when he builds it out in the second half, it can open up opportunities for us, and we're going to have to be really good in that second half, because even going back to Santa Fe, we led at half time, and so I think that second half is going to be really important, and Angus is going to be important in that second half.
Joe, Nick White's played some pretty good rugby since he retired.
Whitey's been great. He's always great in the environment, but his experience, particularly, I think if we didn't have his experience, it would be a bit harder for Tom Liner. But Nick takes a lot of the pressure off. If we need to make a kick, it might be Tom. Tom's got a nice long kicking game, but it can just as easily be Nick White, and he's very efficient in that area. Even mapping the team around, while the Nines often got their head down and is distributing, Whitey's got enough awareness that on the way in he's already looked, and I think the evidence of that is the quick tap from the free kick, from the scrum. He is so quick to take that. The set play we were going to play is exactly what he did, so he just did that, while they just probably caught a pause and really put the ball on a plate for Corey Toole to finish. So, he's a really good defensive player as well. He may not look like that just with the size of him, but incredibly brave defender, but very good at organising and getting to where he needs to be to help other players be where they need to be. So, both sides of the ball, he's very useful to us.
You've got Luke Arm there, sort of breathing fire, waiting for a chance. I'm sure he's put a pretty compelling case forward, but what's he got to do to get some minutes? Or how are you managing, that element of things?
Yeah, I think if you watched Josh Canham in the final last week, I don't think Bond win it without him. He laid on that try with an incredible offload and a square strong run. So, young Josh is developing as well. Lucan, obviously, he has the experience. I think for us, once someone's got the jersey, and Tom Hooper didn't deserve to lose the jersey, but Bobby Valentini came back and played well in that last test. So, sometimes it's about fitting players in who have already got the jersey, and it's other players' challenge to work their way in. So Lucan's training well. He's a smart line-out player. He's a big athlete. So there's lots to like about Lucan as well. And it's probably one of those things that this time last year we didn't feel like we had competition for places, but there's genuine competition for places in that second row now.
And just one more, your opposite coach was talking to him earlier today about how he enjoys, well, actually he said he doesn't like coaching against you, but because of that cut and mouse, and he's expecting, who knows what, can you just give your reflections on what he's like as a tactician and how you're sort of enjoying the battle that's to come?
Yeah, I'd know Felipe well, obviously, would be pretty friendly, and it was a bit like Andy Farrell in the Lions series. It is always tougher to come up against those guys and be coaching. They know you well, you know them well. I rate Felipe really highly as a coach, and he's a great bloke. So, those two things mean that I hope the best for him, when he plays other teams. Not against us on Saturday, that's for sure, because I think he's doing a great job with that team, and we're going to have to be flat out to beat them. So I will catch up with Felipe before kick-off and talk about anything except rugby, which is always nice to do.
Joe Hayden from Win Television. Welcome to Townsville. It's great to have you here.
Nice to be here. Yeah.
I suppose you spoke a little bit about the heat earlier. It's obviously going to be quite an early game on Saturday afternoon. I guess how has that factored into the preparation? And secondly, as well, first game back on home soil for the championship. Do you try to make sure the squad doesn't get complacent at all with that?
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of room for complacency. We watched Los Pumas beat the All Blacks. That's a big task, and it's not one that we've managed in recent times. So, as I said, we respect their coaches a lot and their players. Therefore, there's no complacency. I think one thing we've had to factor in is that factor 50. The boys have layered it on. I think probably one of the biggest negatives, as soon as they start sweating, it drips in their eyes. You see them running around at training, wiping their eyes furiously because it does sting. But hopefully there's a sting in the tail with the preparation we've had, the acclimatisation I mentioned earlier, and the respect that we have for the opposition.
And Wallabies will be here in Townsville in 2021. What does it mean to bring the national team to a regional area like Townsville?
Well, that's what I said about getting along to the club final to start with. That was great. And you know, talking to a couple of the coaches who coached in that final today before we trained, we had a group of about a dozen coaches come in and have a chat and then watch training. And it's just great to kind of catch up with people like that. I think Townsville's a big place. I grew up in a town of 1,600 people, and the half that weren't related to me, I still knew really well. So, for me, Townsville still is a big town. It's just quite a long way from other towns, that's all. And so that isolation has its strengths and weaknesses, obviously, but one of the strengths is that there's a real community feel here. We've had a real sense of community in the catch-ups we've had with the locals, and we're really looking forward to a supportive crowd. The Argentinians who are in the crowd, I hope they're a very small minority, because they tend to be very loud. Having been in some very loud stadia in Argentina, I know what that's like. So it'll be really important we get off to a good start.
With plenty of competition, I guess, for that fullback role, can you talk us through the decision to name Andrew in that spot?
Yeah, I think part of it, again, is getting balance. Tom Wright was really important to us, not just with his athleticism and his acceleration, his skill set, but also the experience. Wrighty had played all but one test for us, and the one he missed was last time we played Argentina. So we've got two very young wingers in terms of test experience. Corey Toole obviously playing his second test, and Max Jorgensen, who had his 21st birthday a couple of days ago. So they're growing into their roles and really enjoying the opportunity, but just to have an experienced player at the back is important, particularly with Joseph Akuso Suali'i in the midfield as well. You've got Lenny Ikato, who's very experienced, and then we've got Tom, who's not, and then we've got Nick White, who is. So that was part of the framework that meant that Andrew Callaway is a nice, safe pair of hands at the back.
What about Harry Wilson, just quickly? That looked like a pretty serious one at the time. He's obviously done well to come back and obviously fit.
Yeah, and it's just the way the knee pinched on a bit of cartilage, and that settled pretty quickly. Not quickly enough for him to play again in the very next week, but he's trained really well this week. And Harry, he brings a raw-boned, kind of big-engined back rower to us, and leadership as well. not that he talks a lot, but just that he gets involved and he's wholehearted in what he does. And so it's great to have Harry back. And probably that back row with Bobby, Harry and Fraser, that's part of a combination that know each other pretty well and balance each other up pretty well. Harry's got better and better at line-out time, so he's got a strong option for us at line-out. So, getting that balance is good as well.
Sorry, Joe, I saw training. Training. Alan Alatoa was back, getting in the mix of things. How is he going in terms of his recovery? Obviously, it was a fairly serious shoulder. Are you confident that you might be able to have him back, maybe for either Argentina or the Betis?
Yeah, really confident. He has just kept ticking his boxes, and he's. I saw Slips describe him as a father figure. Which Alan was horrified by, obviously, because Slips is older than him. That's the banter that happens internally. That those two are very, very close friends, as well as very strong candidates to be in the mix for next week, or potentially the Bledisloe. So at the moment, Alan is tracking really well.
Last couple of training there, please.
Hi, Joe, from ESPN Argentina. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Just two in one. I want to dig a little deeper in Felipe's response, because they've already asked you, but he said that he was expecting surprises in terms of the game, and also that you are intimate enemies because you know each other so well. So I want to know if you expect the same from him, and also you mentioned Santa Fe as maybe did that game stuck with you guys is this a kind of fuel to face this new match against the Pumas?
No, I mean, it hurts. It still stings. You never want to be beaten like that. Particularly the last 20 minutes was really where it got right away from us. But I would have coached against Felipe when he was playing in Toulon when I was at Clermont. So we go back a long way. Coaching at that time was I was coaching Mario Ledesma, who's very close with him, and Gonza Caseta as well. So there's a real Argentinian link, and all champion men and very good coaches. So when Felipe was at Leinster, we would catch up and have coffee or maybe something else it's famous for its Guinness. So with that relationship, it's nice to see people again, but as I said before, that respect I have for him as a coach and even as a player, that makes me a little bit afraid of what he's got cooked up, and I hope he's not sleeping well about what we might have in our armoury to be ready for them. But I've also got to know some of their players pretty well, not personally so much as just seeing them play over a number of years, and would have a massive amount of respect for them as well.